I'm not nervous. I don't know. I'm weird though. I don't get nervous about things. I just don't. Like I've been like that since I was a little kid. I remember when I was in 8th grade, I was auditioning for All-State Band on saxophone. And there was like a couple prepared pieces you had to have, and you had to know your scales, which I did not know my scales. And I remember being in like the waiting area for my audition, and my mom was like freaking out. She was so nervous for me. She was like pacing, and like her foot was kicking whenever she was sitting. And I was like, Mom, what's wrong with you? And she was like, why aren't you nervous? And I was like, what is there to be nervous about? Like I do this every day at school. Like I know how to do the thing I'm doing. And she was like, I'm just being nervous enough for the both of us, I guess. And I've just always been like that, where I don't get nervous about things.
So you never get performance anxiety?
No.
Really?
Playing saxophone? God, no.
Well, what about other things? Playing sports or anything like that? Really?
I never played like a position of spotlight enough to get that for sports, I don't think. Like, you know, I feel like if you're a quarterback is different than if you're a tight end.
Okay, right.
So for sports, for me, I was always, you know, like a tight end or a fullback or a defensive end.
Right.
That never even occurred to me. Saxophone, though, I was very much in the spotlight for things. But again, it was just like, it's like, no, this is what I do. I'm good at this. Like, why do I have to be nervous about anything? I know I can do it. Trying to think. I never got nervous public speaking.
You get nervous around girls?
Yeah.
Yeah? So that's like
in like high school and stuff? Well, no.
Just girls you like. Like
normal people, no. Like I can talk to anyone if someone walks up to me. So I get weird. I get like kind of social anxiety in big groups of people. I don't like being in big groups of people I don't know.
Because it makes you uncomfortable.
But weirdly, if there was like a stage and I was on it with those same people and they were all there
to watch you
for me, I'd be fine.
So we've talked about stand-up comedy before, and you said that
stand-up comedy. I'm not afraid of stand-up comedy because I'd be afraid to do it. I wouldn't know how to prepare stand-up comedy. Like I don't think I'd be good at it.
Huh?
In terms of building a set and stuff like that. I think if I was given, like, you know, here's the material for 5-minute stand-up set, I could go do it. I think the idea of bombing is kind of scary.
Okay.
The idea of like going up there and saying your joke, how about airplane food, and then no one laughs. That's like a scary idea. But to me, I don't know. I'm very much like I'll tackle things as they come kind of person. I always have been.
Right.
So to me, it'd be like, well, if I was bombing, I would have to figure out how to bomb while I was bombing. It's not. I don't like think about it ahead of time like that.
Right. Yeah, like. I'm on the opposite end as far as like performance anxiety and fucking so I think that one of the reasons I was so awful at basketball, aside from me being, 5'8" and white, was just the fact that like I was so fucking nervous anytime that I played.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of my own head.
You're much more exposed playing basketball than other sports.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't know how to deal with that. That's why like whenever there was organized basketball, I froze.
That's interesting.
But whenever I played anything like when I played football and I was on defense and I knew that people weren't really focused on me, I was completely fine.
Yeah.
I think that like out of all of the other than wrestling, I think that
Did you get it for wrestling?
Yes.
I feel like wrestling is a bit less of a spectator sport, so maybe it's not as strong.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And plus
if
usually at, I mean, it depends on the format. Like if you're at a tournament, there's multiple.
There's so many matches going on.
There's so many
at the same
matches
time,
going on at the same time. But if it's
if you reach the finals though.
But if it's the finals, there's still matches going on.
That's true.
But if it's a dual meet, I mean that's one mat.
Oh, okay.
So but I also felt more in control in wrestling.
And it's just you.
And it's just me, and I knew that I was pretty good. I had more confidence with.
So you with wrestling were kind of like me with saxophone,
right?
Where you kind of knew you could do the thing you were supposed to.
And I knew that the work was done.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I think is if you've put in that work. And it's weird because I don't like reflect on my time playing saxophone through middle school and high school and think about how much work I put in. it was literally just, it was a class at school, so I played every day.
Yeah.
I hated practicing at home. Like, I never did that.
Yeah.
Never. I was just, you know, to toot my own horn, I was pretty good at saxophone, just kind of naturally. But yeah, it is a sense of just putting that time in every day gives you that sense of sort of you've earned the ability you have. That's kind of interesting.